everyone, my name is Joseph Ropati, and I'm going to be talking to you about my new game, Zombie Apocalypse, the dice game. So this video it's going to be spread over two different videos. On the first video, I'm going to talk about the components of the game, and then I'm going to set up the game. On the second video, I'm going to go through a playthrough, and I'll be doing a number of turns, or if I can, I'll do the whole game. So for this first part, I'm going to talk about all the components, and everything you see here are all the components for the game. There's cubes, dice, all the cards, the game board, and then the character cards. So all the cards themselves are all standard size. They're all 2.5 by 3.5, and then these character cards are a little bit different. They're like 3 by 3, and then we have our legal size game board. But this is everything that makes up what you need for the game. So first I'll talk about the game board. So again, it's on legal size paper. It has this 4-grid section, and that's where your character cards will be placed. And we can place those now. So your character cards, like I said, they go in here. Each character is numbered, 1 through 4. And you can set these up in any arrangement that you want. And during the game, the arrangement can change. Each turn, you can move your characters around, because you have to remember that zombies attack from left and right. And when they attack on this side, these two take the damage from close combat with the zombie. These two take the damage from close combat on this side. Now when raiders attack, they can attack on different sides, and they can attack different characters. But just remember that from this side, these two will spread out the damage, and this side, these two will spread out the damage. So then we have our character cards, like I said, which have their different types of icons for their actions. Each character card has a health track, which we will put a red cube on each one of the starting locations, which is the red cross. This track is the amount of health they have and how much damage they can take. Once it gets to the skull, they're dead and are removed. In this game, you can lose one character. Once you lose 2, the game's over. So you can lose one guy. And whenever that character's dice come up, like if you lose this lieutenant and his pistols come up, it's just an ignored dice action. Then we have a wound track, so whenever there's a bite, they take a wound, and you mark this off with your green cube, so they can take up to 3 bites and then they are killed. As you'll see, we have the different types of weapons. They're all color coded, so again, remember the blue dice represented for this blue soldier. And we have pistol, MP5, sniper rifle, and shotgun. They all have different types of ranges. They do different types of damage. Then we have a knife and a target, and different types of icons. So you'll see, like in their normal attack, they have, so this soldier has a pistol, and it needs ammo to fire. If, let's say, I roll a red pistol or a blue pistol, I would need ammo to fire 1 point of damage. And you can fire from either side, doesn't matter. If I did a black, which represents character, I wouldn't need ammo. I could do 1 point of damage with that pistol. So any other color needs ammo, but if that soldier rolls its color and its weapon, then it does need ammo. Range 2 tells you can shoot up to range 2 when you're firing. Sniper rifle can shoot things in range 3. And then we have close combat. Now, close combat is either a knife, or you'll see this little target. So if you roll on a white die, if I could find it, just a regular target, that's a 1 point of damage at close range, or a knife, if I can find one. Come on. Oh, knife. Then that does 1 point of damage from a knife in close combat, so it's an either or. Then we have special weapons that go with certain soldiers. So for this soldier and this one, they can throw a grenade. So if you roll a grenade, this soldier could throw it either side. And the way the grenade works is, if a grenade was thrown here, let's say you had some zombies here and here. The grenade, and I'm still kind of playing with these rules, but the way the rules are now, if you throw a grenade in range 2 and there's zombies, everything in here is destroyed. Everything on either side takes 1 point of damage. Now you can throw it from range 3, 2, or close combat. And the damage, the way it does is, if you throw it in 3, everything's destroyed. This range takes 1 point damage, but your soldiers on this side don't take any damage. If you throw it in range 2, everything's destroyed. These take 1 point damage, but your soldiers each take a point of damage. If you throw it here in close combat, both your soldiers take 2 points of damage. Everything in close combat is destroyed, and in these they take 1 point of damage. So that's how the grenade works. Then we have these single shot, and these are numbered. So if you have 1 and you see the number on it 1, it goes with this character. That means he can shoot anywhere up to his range, which for this guy is 2, and do 2 points of damage on something. It's kind of like a special attack, or it honed in and got a special attack on something. So there's only 1 of these, so these don't come up very often. Then you'll have a heal. If you roll a heal, red cross, that means you can heal a point of damage to any one of the soldiers. If you roll a medic bag, which is used by this soldier, he can heal any of the bite wounds. So if this guy had a bite wound, he could use that action and heal that wound. If you have a scanner, the way the scanner works, this is the one that helps either to build things, like I said, and I'll explain that with the barricade, but he helps prevent random attacks. It's kind of like scanning the area. So that's a scanner. So these are the actions that all these guys can take as you're rolling your dice. Then we have up here on the board, we have our random zombie counters or our bite wounds. If, let's say, you roll and you get a 1 zombie, these are the only 2 areas that get locked. So from round to round, they will lock into those areas until a second one. If you roll the second one, now you'd get a random encounter, which would be 2 or 3 zombies. You just roll a d6, and 1 or 2 is 1, 3, 4 is 2, and then 5, 6 is 3 zombies. And then you randomly place those out. And you pull these back in, they'd be rolled next round. Same with the hand. If you rolled a hand, if you only rolled 1, it would lock on there until you rolled a second one. Then if you rolled a second one, you'd roll a d4, and one of the soldiers would get a bite wound. And then you'd modify that, and these would come on. So everything else is available to be moved around before you do the action, and it's taken off for the next round. These are the only 2 that get locked up. Now these 2 tracks on top. The radiation track takes a yellow cube, and this basically tracks whenever your soldiers are moving through a location that has radiation, or if radiation zombies attack you and get to close combat range, they will also give you radiation poisoning. So you'll keep track of that. If it ever gets to the skull, everybody's dead. Everybody's got too much of a high dose of radiation. Your blue cube, which should have 5 of those, those are to track your electronic components. So this game, the way it's played is you're trying to find 5 electronic components to help you decode the blast door at the SATCOM. Your soldiers are trying to find a safety zone, and they've got some information that they found that leads them to a bomb shelter in this SATCOM location. In this SATCOM location, there's this huge nuclear blast door, but right now it's got an encryption encoder on it. So they need to find these 5 cards that they can use to help configure and get past this encoding encryption, and then open those blast doors and get them to safety. So that's where you're using these 5 cubes, and every time you find one, they're all numbered, and you'll put a cube on the ones that you find. So you have your 5 blue cubes, and that will track those. And then we have on the sides our ranges, and that's where everything is attacking you. So as I said, you can attack from the right side or left side. You'll notice this 1 through 10 numbering, And that's how you'll place your zombies. So if you have a location that has like 5 zombies, you can roll, if you have them, 5d10. You'd roll these and then place a zombie on each number that you roll. So one would go on 2, one would go on 7, another one would go on 8. So that's what the d10 are used for whenever you encounter either raiders or zombies, depending on what type of raider it is. But I'll explain that in a little bit. So those are the ranges, things that come up. And then we have our zombies and raiders where we place our decks. So that's the game board. Now let me talk a little bit about the cards themselves. So first we have our barricade cards, and you'll notice that these have either 2 icons or they have 3 icons. And the way this works is during the game, during a round, you're being attacked, you can build barricades. You just need these actions. So if you roll these dice, if you rolled a medic bag or this target, you'd place them on here. Once you get both of them, you've built this barricade and you can stick it in the close combat. And how that works is this now blocks up to 2 zombies. Once a 3rd zombie gets here, or a 3rd enemy, it will destroy this barricade and then they will start attacking. But it will block up to 2. Now, the only way these are destroyed are either through a grenade or 3 zombies. If a grenade, you can throw a grenade in here with the barricade. What it does is it destroys all the zombies, destroys the barricade, and then prevents you from taking any damage. So that's how you can build these. You may need 2. So if you rolled a knife, a scanner, and a grenade, you could put them on here. And then you can leave these on here from round to round to try and build it, or take them off whenever you want so they're not locked on here. So what we'll do is we'll shuffle these, and then we'll place those up here, and you can build as many as you can during each round. So then we'll talk about the zombies. So normal zombies. We have 3 types of zombies. We have fast zombies, slow zombies, mutant zombies that are in this normal deck, and then we also have radiation zombies, but that's going to be in a separate deck. So each zombie type has an icon and a color coding. Red is for fast zombies, yellow will be for slow zombies, blue will be for mutants, and green will be for radiation. So the icons that you'll see in the corners are, in the upper right corner is how much damage it takes to destroy the zombie. So this would need 1 to destroy this one, or 1 to destroy this fast zombie. In the upper left corner, you'll see a circle with slashes through it. This shows how much damage the zombie does when it's in close combat range. So this will do 2 against a soldier, or this will do 1. And all damage is always spread out. So if there was 2 damage, you'd give him 1 and him 1 if it was attacking on this side. So those are the fast. Now, fast zombies are the only ones that move 2 spaces. So whenever these are placed out, no matter where they're at, the next turn, they're going to be in close combat. Everything else moves 1 space, 1 range per movement turn. So these are the only ones that move 2. So then we have our slow zombies. And again, slow zombies are yellow. So we have, this needs 1 to destroy, another one, this one needs 1 to destroy it. It has a yellow circle which shows this one can do 2 damage, or 1 damage, and these only move 1 space. And then last we have our mutant zombies. Again, mutants are blue coding. So these are kind of the tougher guys. These need 2 for you to destroy. You need to attack with 2 to destroy these. And then this one will do 2 damage to a soldier, and this one will do 3 damage to a soldier. So this is kind of a baddie. And then, so that's our slow, fast, and our mutant zombies. So this is a separate deck. We will shuffle this up. We don't mix in our radiation zombies because that'll be in a separate deck. So here we give a good shuffle, and then we put this at the bottom of the game board. And we'll talk about our radiation zombies. So there's 2 types of radiation zombies, and they have some special icons. So this radiation zombie needs 2 to destroy. This one needs 1 for that upper right corner. And then it has a green circle, which means this one can do 1 damage, and this one can do 2. And then there's another special radiation icon, which means whenever this gets to close combat range, the team is taking a radiation poisoning, and it means that you'll be moving this. So not only can they get radiation from moving into a location that has radiation, but if these ever get to close combat, they're all taking radiation. So these can kill your group really fast if you don't get rid of them. So we'll shuffle these up. And the only time radiation zombies come out is when you're in a location, so you put those face down, if you're in a location that has radiation, which would be like this. So if your team moves into a radiation site like this, you will be moving the track down. It's only once that you'll do it. And if you have to backtrack through here, you will also take radiation poisoning damage. If you have a random encounter, radiation zombies only come up if you're in this location or if radiation locations are next to or adjacent to you. Then you'll get random radiation zombies. So that's our radiation zombies. Place those up top. Then we have our raiders, and there's 3 types of raiders. We have our close combat raider, and again, special icons. This has a CC for close combat, meaning it will only be placed in either this side or this side in the close combat range. And you roll D10, so anything 1 through 5 is this side, 6 through 10 is on this side. Needs 1 point to kill it, and it does 1 knife wound of damage to whatever side it's on. So that's close combat raider. Then you have the rifle, long range rifle raider. 1 to kill it. It does bullet damage, so it does 1 damage. And it has a special icon that says R3, which means these are only placed in range 3. Whenever they're placed, you roll a d4, place it in there, and whenever they move, you roll another d4 and they move to a range 3. That's the only range they'll be at. So a little bit harder to kill. You need your sniper or a grenade to kill it. But so that's your long range. Then you have these mutant raiders. These are baddies. You need 2 to kill it, and it can move anywhere on all the ranges. When it's in close combat, it does 2 knife damage to that side, and if it's in any other range, 2 or 3, it does 2 bullet damage to a soldier. So that's your mutant raiders. So that's a separate deck. We'll shuffle those up. And raiders and zombies, you'll never find them in the same location. You'll either have raiders or you'll have zombies, but never both. Raiders are smart. They've cleared out all the zombies and they don't deal with them. So we shuffle that up and we put that on the bottom of the board. And then finally we have our last few decks. One is our search. Every location has 1 item you can find, a search item. You won't know what it is until you clear the item. But this also has your electronic component cards, those 5 that you're trying to find. Now the way we need to make this deck, we can't just shuffle this up and put it out because you may not get the card. So what we have to do is we first pull out our 5 electronic component cards. Okay, and then we have this remaining deck. So we shuffle this up. Give it a good shuffle. And then we have to deal out 10 cards. So you should have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. You should have 10 cards. Then we take our 5 cards, our 5 electronic component cards, and we shuffle up this deck. And what that does is it guarantees that you will find at least all 5 cards within all 15 search locations. So this makes it so you're able to win the game. But there's now items that you won't find because now these are put off to the side, and this is your new search deck. Again, 1 search card for each location you visit. So those are always face down. Then we have our location items. Now every location you visit has a specific item that you find. These you'll know what it is, but you just won't get it until the area is cleared. But these are all, so like for this bat. So if you're in the city bridge, you can find this bat. Once you clear the location, it has a, like this one does 1 point of damage at close combat range once per round. If you roll 1 on d6, you break the bat and it's discarded. But this is a free use, so every round you can use this once. So everything has a special ability. There's, like I said, bulletproof or flak jackets. Those you don't need to shuffle this, you just put it off to the side. And then the last thing I want to talk about are location cards. These are what are going to make up your movement grid, your map grid. These are what your soldiers are moving through to find the cards and get to the final location, the SATCOM. And the way this works is you take out the SATCOM and then you shuffle these. Give it a good shuffle. Because you're not going to be using all of them. There's 21 of these location cards, but you're only going to be putting out 15. So once you get a good shuffle, you cut in half and you make your 4x4 grid. Put them with name down. And then on this last one, it's your SATCOM. So you put these off to the side, and these are the locations that you will search through to find those 5 electronic component cards. And then once you have those 5 cards, then you're going to move to the SATCOM location. We always start in the upper left corner. That is our start location. So in this case, we'll be starting at the city bridge. We flip it over, put our cube right there on the image of the bridge, and then we go, okay, city bridge. Oh, okay, I looked out. So we would look through here, we would find the item for the city bridge, which happens to be the bat. Put it on top, and then you just set that below. So you will draw 1 search card, don't look at it. So these are the 2 items you can find once you clear this location. Now, the city bridge, it's not a radiation site, so you won't need to move the track for radiation. But we want to look here and see, this is what's going to tell us how many zombies or raiders we put out. So in this little box, it'll have zombies and it'll have a number, and like for radiation sites, it will give you different things, you know, different radiation. But the zombies, the way this works is, if it was radiation, any number of these 7 could be radiation zombies. It just, every time you roll, you'll roll a 6, and if you roll a 5 or 6, then it's a zombie, a radiation zombie. So in this case, we have 7 zombies, no radiation zombies. Okay? And the way that works is we just take our radiation deck that we've shuffled and we deal out 7. Okay? So we have our 7 zombies. And then we could take, if we had 7 D10, right, which I happen to have. And we'll roll these. And then we just start placing them. So I have one that goes on 1, so there's a slow. And then another one that's at 7. And another one at 1. Just stack them. There's one at 6. And then we have one at 4. And we have one, how much is it? 2. And one that was at 9. So those are our initial 7 zombies. Like I said, we rolled our zombies to figure out where they're going to be at. And if we look what we've got 3 slow zombies, 4, another slow, because the yellow icon's for slow. Then we have a fast zombie and a fast zombie. Didn't get any mutant zombies. Put these off to the side. So right now, this is a setup for the game to play. We've got our initial cards that we can find once the area is cleared, a search item and a location item. We've created our map grid. These are all 16 or 15 locations we're going to go through to find the 5 electronic components. Once we find all 5, then we will make our way to the SATCOM. And you can move horizontal, vertical to go through this grid. You can't move diagonally, but you can move here, move back up. And whenever you move into a new location, so if I've cleared this and I'm going to move here, if I need to move back here, you know that this is one that's been cleared already because it's flipped over, and you're just backtracking. When you backtrack, you have to roll a d6 to see if you get a random encounter. So if you go backtrack and you roll a 6, you have a random encounter, a random zombie encounter. Could be raiders, could be zombies, could be even radiation zombies. So whenever you enter a new location, you just flip it over, put the icon on there, and then start that turn. So each time you play, each time a location is in, you find a location, it's a turn. When you're attacking and doing things within that turn, they're called rounds. So every time I was going to make an attack, that's a round. Then the zombies would attack, that's another round. And then every time you're doing these things, these rounds are going through until I completely clear the area. Then the turn is over. That turn for that location. So a turn goes with a location. Then I move, I'd go into a new location, flip it over. After I've taken these, I would find out what the new location item is. I would draw another search item, and then I would try and clear that area. But it's rounds, all these different rounds to clear a location for one turn. Okay? So I have my dice, I've got my components. This is my setup to play a game. We're ready to go to start clearing this first location. Okay? So we've got our board set up. We've got all our cards where they're supposed to be. The zombies have attacked. And kind of just give you an overview of how the turn works. You roll, once everything's ready to go, you roll your action dice. Once you roll them, you start placing them on the board. You know, if you had some inventory items, you could also use action dice for those. But you basically place, so if you know, MP5, you'd place it on here, and if you had ammo, you'd place it with it. Scanners, and if you need to heal somebody, those get placed on the board, and then you take your turn. Once your turn's over, the zombies and raiders will take their turn, and what happens is they initially attack. And remember, zombies can only attack once they're in close combat. If nobody's in close combat and there's no attack, then they will move, and you always move your fast zombies first because they move 2. They always move down to close combat, and then everything else moves 1. So this would move here, these would move here, that would move into close combat, this would move here, close combat, and then here. After everything's moved, then you do all your in-turn resources where, dice that are locked, we want to make sure they stay locked until it gets a second one. If you have items that are free uses, you can either use them, like if it's a heal and you have an item down here, you want to make sure that you use those on your turn. So it's always based on your turn, the zombie turn. Zombie turn is made up of attack first, then move. Once that's finished, then you're going to go through and make the next round, which will be, you will roll all any remaining action dice that aren't locked, right? Or ones that you want to leave, if you're trying to build a barricade or if you're using them, it's your choice if you want to leave them on here. They're not locked, but you can leave them to try and build it. Then you would roll your action dice, take your turn, finish it. A zombie turn would take. So round after round. So that's an overview of the components and how the game is set up ready to play. So on the next video I'll talk about going through and actually doing a playthrough and how the turns move and how things are placed on the game and how you attack things. So thanks for watching, and if you watch the next video you'll see how I'm actually going to continue playing this off on a turn.